riding the high of being promoted from the Championship last season. They broke their transfer record a few weeks ago and they've now broken it again. They are certainly coming to the transfer table. There is a deal agreed with Strasbourg for Habib Diarra. It's 27 million with 3 million in add-ons for the 21-year-old Senegal international. You might be looking at that thinking, I recognise that moment there. He scored against England at the City Ground just a couple of weeks ago on international duty. We just understand the medical has now got to be completed before officially announcing next week. He is essentially the replacement for Job Bellingham, who's gone to the Bundesliga with Borussia Dortmund. So, yeah, Sunderland getting busy in the window. Habib Diarra from Strasbourg is going to be one of their key signings over the course of this summer and takes their spending to £50 million already at this early stage.
Talking of key signings, what a signing Brighton's João Pedro could potentially be for Newcastle. Are they making any progress?
Not so much quality. He's now got 2 years' experience in the Premier League at a really good club. He's played European football, of course, Europa League football under Roberto De Zerbi. So he has so much more than potentially what he had when Eddie Howe looked at him. Maybe that's reflective upon the price as well. We understand Brighton are looking for in excess of £60 million to get this deal over the line. Let's take a look at some of João Pedro's stats then last season. You can see from those numbers that he was one of the standout performers for Brighton last season, hence why there is this interest from the likes of Chelsea and Newcastle. But as of yet, no deal done.
The other thing I get the sense that he quite likes with players like Bruno and Joe Linton is someone with a bit of bite and a bit of edge, which I think that you would say that João Pedro has. He plays games right on the limit at times.
And he trains on the limit as well. There was that disciplinary issue at the end of the season where there was an alleged confrontation with another player at Brighton and Hove Albion in training. And that is absolutely the way Eddie Howe likes players to be. He wants players to give everything for the badge. He wants players to be on the front foot. He wants players to press high, work hard. It's very much a team game. And you get the feeling that João Pedro would bring all the good, but they're not an Eddie Howe player, so they'd never be a target for Newcastle.
You said there that maybe Brighton, or Newcastle rather, weren't too close with João Pedro. Are Manchester United any closer in terms of Brentford's Brian Mbeumo? Well,
we told you last night, just after the transfer show came off air, that Brian Mbeumo's second bid from Manchester United had been rejected. That is essentially the case. However, the offer at £62.5 million was close to what Brentford were looking for. So I get the feeling now the talks are continuing, but it's just a case of restructuring the finances and then they'll have a let's go, deal on, this is going to happen. So, yeah, whilst officially that second offer has been rejected, we understand it's just a case of manipulating the figures. We know that Brian Mbeumo wants Manchester United. You know, he's made that very clear. There were other sides like Newcastle interested in taking him. However, he has made it clear to his agent and to those clubs that were at the table a couple of weeks ago, no, my focus is on Manchester United. That's where I see my future. That's where I want to play. I want to go to the theatre of dreams. That's the next chapter in my life and my...
With Paul Pogba back in the game.
Yeah, back in the game. Medical completed at Monaco. He's going to sign a 2-year contract. Still 32 years old, so still probably got a few years left in him. We know he's a World Cup winner. And we know that he will have next year's World Cup very much on his mind, hence why he's committed to a team in France. His last competitive game was for Juventus in September 2023, came on as a sub against Empoli, and of course someone the Premier League fans will know played for Manchester United. Got to be honest, whenever I watched him play, he was always sensational. He always scored goals, he always was box to box, he was a great player to watch. Perhaps not as consistent as Manchester United fans would have hoped for, but no question, on his day, still got so much quality.